This is Unapologetically Ashley, my podcast discussing topics such as dating, cooking, shopping, budgeting, and more, all with a disability. My goal is to show that, disabled or not, we are all the same, and while I may have a disability, it's not all of who I am. My name is Ashley, I'm 25 years old, and when I was born, the umbilical cord got wrapped around my neck 4 times with a knot, which cut off the oxygen to my brain, leaving me with a bunch of different disabilities, including CVI or cortical visual impairment, as well as a right hemiplegia, which is a type of cerebral palsy. Because I have both of these disabilities, oftentimes I can feel like an outsider, even within the disability community, like I'm trapped inside of a box. This can be quite isolating and lonely at times, and I can struggle with my disability, but at the end of the day, I'm just unapologetically Ashley. Hello and welcome to episode 3, Buying Jewellery with a Disability, discussing what it's like buying and wearing jewellery when you have a physical disability, unlike the previous episodes where we discussed those topics in relation to my vision impairment. This time we're talking about it in relation to my physical disability, right hemiplegia, and how that affects my day-to-day, especially when it comes to wearing jewellery. This might seem like an easy thing, just buy longer necklaces you can put on over your head, or dangly earrings, but it's a little bit more complicated than that, because it comes down to people's personal style and what they're comfortable with wearing. As someone with a physical disability, I do enjoy things like dangly earrings or long necklaces because of how easy they are for me to put in because of my physical disability. However, that doesn't mean I want to wear dangly earrings every day or long necklaces every day. I would prefer to just wear them when I'm going out to dinner or to an event, rather than wearing them in my everyday life 24/7. So because of that, I end up wearing stud earrings with butterflies, and because I wear them every single day and sleep in them, I don't have to worry about taking them out. However, it would be nice to be able to, and because I live alone, I need someone else to take them out for me, and that is something that I can't have the luxury of doing by myself because of my physical disability. Now, whether you also have a physical disability like right hemiplegia, either from birth or an accident, or even worse, you only have one hand due to an accident or illness or injury or just a birth defect, it can make it really hard to put on jewellery, especially things like necklaces, because you can't work the clasp either because of your damaged hand or because you only have one hand, and it can make it very difficult when it comes to buying necklaces, especially if you're someone who really loves shorter necklaces rather than ones that go on over your head. That's why I was so excited when my nana found out about magnetic clasps, and we were able to change out this necklace that I'm wearing to a magnetic clasp. Originally it was longer and I could put it on over my head. However, I did get it shortened when I got the magnetic clasp, and that changed my life. It's not perfect, as it comes off a lot easier than a regular necklace due to the fact that it is magnetic. However, when it comes to wearing necklaces, it just comes down to personal preference, and I think the magnet is a great solution to people like me who want to wear shorter necklaces. But again, if you don't mind wearing longer necklaces, then it's not really a big deal. However, I do feel like with the magnet, it does make me feel more independent in a way that longer necklaces don't. When it comes to things like magnets, it's different because for most people, especially when it comes to shorter necklaces, they just use the clasp really easy to put it on and take it off. And when it comes to someone like me with a physical disability, the reason that we prefer to use longer necklaces is because we can put them on over our head. We can put them on really easily and take them off really easily. So by now having a magnetic clasp, I'm able to still have that feeling of putting a necklace on, which may not seem like a big deal, as like I said, you can just put it on over your head. But I do have to say, after years of putting necklaces on over my head versus now this magnetic clasp, it has a new sense of freedom that I can't really describe, but it makes me feel independent in a way that putting a necklace on over my head didn't make me feel. It's a slight change, it's not really a big deal, but for me, it meant everything. For those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, it's just a small little silver chain with a small little silver A, and if I yank on it a little bit, it's going to come off. And then as soon as I put the two magnets together, they will join together. And that is a game changer for someone like me with a physical disability as opposed to a regular necklace, because now I can just very easily put it back on, and it does make it super easy, like it would for someone who has no physical disability. And so I feel more on that level. I feel more independent in ways that putting a necklace on over my head just doesn't give me. It's silly, but it does change things for me. Now, when it comes to earrings, yes, when it comes to things like dangly earrings, they're super easy to put in and they are basically the solution. But what if you don't want to wear dangly earrings 24/7 like me? I have my firsts and my seconds, and I have studs in both at the moment. And when it comes to wearing earrings, I prefer to wear studs on a daily basis, 24/7, sleeping in them, just wearing them every single day, and just have someone like my mum help me to clean them and, take them in and out when I need. But I don't live at home. I live at my own house. I am by myself. So if I want to change my earrings, I have to wait for someone else, which for most disabled people, they aren't likely to live alone, so it's not a huge deal getting someone else to put the earrings in for you. But it does take away that feeling of independence when you constantly need to rely on someone else for something as simple as putting in earrings. And while there may not be a solution yet, I am curious for what's to come in the future in terms of independence for basic things like earrings. But now that I have the magnetic clasp option, I can buy shorter necklaces and then just have the clasp changed, which does make it a bit better because I can now change what I'm wearing and how I'm styling different jewelry pieces. Now, when it comes to buying jewelry as a gift, I have gotten so many different pieces from family members. They all know that I can't work a clasp, and so they've bought me a lot of long necklaces or dangly earrings because they know I can wear those and put them in by myself. That person with a physical disability might be forced to wear types of jewelry they don't like because it's the only jewelry they can wear. And while that might seem silly, it is also a game changer for people like me who have a physical disability when we get pieces like this necklace where you can have the clasp changed to a magnetic clasp, and how much that did change and affect my life positively, allowing me to have that different type of freedom and different type of independence that I couldn't get from wearing a long necklace because it was different, even though I could still put it on over my head and take it off. It gave me a different feeling than the one that I can put on around my neck like everyone else. So while these may seem like small things, when it comes to people with physical disabilities, even the most smallest basic thing can change your life. And this doesn't just apply to jewelry either. It can apply to basically anything that someone with a physical disability struggles with. As someone with a physical disability, I do struggle to cut up my food, for example. I've tried putting the fork into my right hand and cutting with the knife, but it still doesn't work. And while I don't really have too much of an issue with my family members or even friends cutting my food up for me, it does feel a little bit awkward or can be a bit weird for other people around. And while I'm okay with it, I can understand why other people might feel a bit awkward about having to do that when I'm a grown adult. And I don't really know the solution to that. I've tried different things, but there are so many other types of food out there that it's not a huge deal when it comes to cutting up food. But when it comes to that bit of independence, that's an example, just like when it comes to earrings, that you need someone else's help. Whether it's putting studs in your ears or cutting up your food, those are things that people like me do struggle with, and it can be hard sometimes when you have a physical disability to find ways to be independent because of that physical disability and how it affects your day-to-day life. And while over time you're going to get used to what you can and can't do and your lifestyle, it can still be challenging, and there can still be those days where you just wish that there was a solution. And this necklace, I feel like, is the first step towards a solution for jewellery. But this is just my perspective, and you may have a different one depending on the different experiences that you've had as someone with a physical disability. I know that for me personally, when it comes to things like jewellery, while it might seem simple and basic, these things are game changers, especially when we find basic solutions to them. But because we have these challenges and because there are solutions like magnetic clasps, it allows us to just have that little bit of independence that we wouldn't otherwise have because of our physical disability. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye!